When Tom Peters and Bob Waterman published In Search of Excellence, many managers, consultants, and researchers began to look more carefully at the characteristics that separated great organizations from good ones. This effort is ongoing. Almost every year, a book or magazine article being published identifies a new way to look at this issue. Of course, managers and organizations are always looking for the quick fix, the guaranteed route to sustained and sustainable success. But there is no quick fix. A number of keys to achieving excellence and success have been identified and described. And yet, experience and observation suggest that many, maybe even most, organizations still don't know how to make it happen in their own operations, or at least have not taken the steps necessary to bring sustained success. Therefore, during this presentation, I will describe my own synthesis of the best of these ideas. First, let me talk a little bit about what is meant by excellence. Peters and Waterman initially sought financial criteria for identifying the best organizations, that is, those with the best sustained marketplace and stock market performance. They started by making a list of continuously innovative big companies, based largely on observation and reputation. They then applied financial criteria of success to this group of firms, things like sustained profitability, increased market share, revenue growth over a long period of time, to develop a shorter list of firms to examine more closely. At the time, Peters and Waterman were consultants with McKinsey & Company, the world's largest management consultancy, and from this base, they then spent a number of years conducting in-depth interviews in these top-performing organizations that they had identified in order to determine the characteristics that helped explain their high levels of success. The end result was a list of 8 characteristics as described and explained in their book, In Search of Excellence, which, by the way, remains some 25 years later one of the top-selling business books and is one of the top-selling business books of all time. Indeed, if you have not yet read it, you should get a copy. My intention here is not to dwell on all of these characteristics, at least some of which have become controversial as individual firms in the study fall on hard times. But I will focus on some of them which seem to have stood the test of time and practice. Here are the 8 characteristics. A bias for action. Excellent firms exhibited a style of just doing something, of experimenting, trying out new ideas, as opposed to spending large amounts of time studying every challenge and problem before taking a decision. As some commentators have put it, it is a strategy of ready, fire, aim. Or as Nike puts it, just do it. It is a style of taking action first, then looking at the results and making adjustments based on those results. Stay close to the customer. This is the strategy of knowing your customer's wants and needs and focusing on satisfying your customer. Emphasize autonomy and entrepreneurship. This is what was later in a book by Gifford Pinchot referred to as intrapreneurship. That is, entrepreneurship from within the firm. Breaking the firm into smaller firms to encourage competition and independence, encouraging innovation and new ideas, and nourishing them within the firm. Create high productivity through people, understanding that the best efforts of your employees are the keys to your success. Use a hands-on, value-driven management style. Managers need to keep in close touch with the firm's day-to-day business and promote a positive and ethical, customer and results-driven culture. Stick to the knitting. That is, stick to the core abilities of the business, what it knows best how to do. what it has built its reputation and brand around. Use a simple organizational form with a lean staff, essentially meaning fewer layers in the organization, with fewer people at the middle and top. And judge performance on the basis of what are called simultaneous loose-tight properties. That is, pursue a dedication to central values, such as profitability and customer focus, yet letting managers have the freedom to decide how to achieve these objectives. In the last 25 years, some of the other approaches to identifying the best companies have included, for example, Fortune magazine's annual issue devoted to identifying the 100 most admired companies based on their reputations among executives and consumers. Fortune magazine also publishes an annual edition focused on the best companies to work for, based on surveys of employees. And other business publications focus on issues such as the top global brands, among other variables, mostly based on surveys and reputations. Yet none of these quite do the job for me. So let me offer a more general, but hopefully more useful definition. I define organizational excellence as the passion to be the best at whatever you and your organization do. In other words, it is the passion to be perceived by your customers as serving their needs better than anyone else can or does. This approach to excellence means having the drive to satisfy your customers no matter the barriers or difficulties. It means having the enthusiasm to make the extra effort to do things right, to go that extra mile or kilometer for your customers, and empowering your employees to do whatever it takes to create and ensure satisfied customers. As I will repeat a number of times during this presentation, the attitude that is felt and expressed by excellent organizations is this: we are the best at what we do, and yet there is nothing we can't do better. It is not enough to just say or think you are the best. Such an attitude leads to complacency and arrogance, a feeling that you have learned all there is to know and done everything necessary to be the best in your profession and industry. In today's hyper-competitive global economy, you have to do more than this. Competition can and does come from anywhere and everywhere, and technology makes it possible for everyone to make high-quality products and services at low prices. Many countries are equally capable of doing pretty much everything, doing it equally well, and doing it equally fast. All countries instantly share information and technology. Firms and countries can therefore compete just about everywhere the moment that economic and technological conditions give them an advantage. And with constantly cheaper and rapidly improving technology and infrastructure, things such as transportation, banking, communication, price and competitive advantages develop in new and multiple locations around the globe. The only avenue to sustained advantage, and thus to sustain success in this environment then, is to go beyond being good, to be willing to admit you can get better, and to understand the importance of developing an organization devoted to constant learning, innovation, and improvement. Organizations with this passion and enthusiasm exhibit 6 characteristics. First, they have a very specific purpose and direction, and they stick to it. Second, they exhibit high energy and commitment to doing things well. Third, they have widely shared standards of excellence with a high awareness reinforced by rewards for achieving that excellence. Fourth, they use cohesive work groups that exhibit high levels of participation, teamwork, and cooperation. Fifth, Their meetings are fast-paced and focused on problem solving. And sixth, they exhibit high commitment to their employees, with a very strong belief in their abilities and in their positive intentions. Drawing from these characteristics of excellence that I have just stated, there are three keys to developing excellence, which provide the core of my remarks in the rest of today's presentation. These keys help to answer the question, how do we achieve these characteristics? The first of these keys is an absolute focus on the customer. Customers are every organization's and individual's reason for being here. Success is only achieved as a result of satisfied customers and repeat business. Satisfied and repeat customers pay the bills, provide the funds for compensation and benefits, and for growing the organization. And they reward the owners. Customer satisfaction and desire for more of what you offer, that is, their interest in and willingness to come back, is derived directly from the firm's ability to deliver its products and service when and where the customer wants it, from its speed and flexibility in delivering its products and services, and responding to problems, and from the firm's high quality. One of the keys to focusing on the customer requires that everyone in the organization realize he or she has a customer and knows who that customer is. It's either the external customer, who everyone needs to pay attention to, or an internal customer. In the case of, say, human resources or finance or purchasing, in their cases, it is the person or part of the organization that uses their work output. You can't concentrate on your customer if you don't know exactly who your customer is. Everyone in the organization must be focused on providing superior service to their customers, both internal and external, and they must provide an absolute guarantee of satisfaction to those customers. This means providing the best possible quality for the price to both internal and external customers. It means measuring customer satisfaction and using that information to make constant improvement in hiring better people, in training, and in service procedures. All of this is achieved through the following. Everyone needs to be close to their customers. Engineers need to spend time with sales and the customers, and staff employees need to spend time with their internal customers. When employees are with their customers, they need to practice what is referred to as naive listening, meaning listening to what the customer says without the attitude of thinking you know what they want or need. After all, between 80 and 90% of all new ideas come directly from the customer, not from R&D. That is, you must listen to your customers without preconceived notions about what their reactions or desires are. Employees need to deal with their customers with uncommon courtesy. That is, going out of their way to make sure whatever concerns or problems the customer expresses are taken care of with a smile and appreciation, always and no matter what, and as quickly as possible. And this superior service and quality needs to be delivered in every market niche and price level for every customer. Let me provide some examples. At Hewlett-Packard, research and development engineers, indeed probably everyone, are expected to interact with customers on a regular basis. For example, they work the sales counters in stores where their products are sold. Maybe even work the sales counters where their competitors' products are sold. Or go on sales calls to industrial customers. To better understand the customer's desires and problems, so innovative products can be developed to meet those concerns and ideas. In New England, in the U.S., there is a grocery and produce store called Stu Leonard's Dairy, one of the most successful supermarkets in the world. At Stu Leonard's, they go out of their way to satisfy their customers, and it pays off with the highest sales per square meter of store space of any similar store chain. One of the stories that is part of the company's folklore involves a produce manager's response to a customer complaint about buying strawberries. As was the case in many grocery or produce stores, Leonard's used to sell their strawberries in prepackaged little trays, wrapped in clear plastic film or in little baskets. The customer in this particular situation asked why she couldn't pick out her own strawberries. The produce manager realized that the cultural values at Leonard's focus strongly on satisfying the customer. So he said, "Let's try it, see what happens." From that time forward, strawberries were displayed in a large pile, giving the customer the opportunity to fill their own plastic bags with their own choice of strawberries from the bin. As might be expected, many customers reached the checkout stands with expensive bags of strawberries. Because they had been given the freedom and opportunity to choose their own strawberries, in almost every case they agreed to buy the strawberries they had chosen. Needless to say, the sales of strawberries tripled almost overnight, and surveys showed a huge increase in customer satisfaction. Leonard's is also committed to constantly trying to come up with new ideas about ways to do things. One of their approaches to this is their One Idea Club. Every time a new store opens up within a few miles of an existing Leonard's Dairy store, employees are loaded into a large van and driven to this new store with the challenge to come up with at least one new idea that can be taken back to Leonard's and implemented. It can be a product or produce idea, a process idea, a marketing idea, anything that can improve the way Leonard's operates and the way it services its customers. On most such visits, the vans return with many new ideas. At Scandinavian Airlines, SAS, a number of years ago, in the midst of significant problems with customer satisfaction, the CEO at the time, Jan Carlson, sought new ways to get employees to focus on the customer. First thing he did was redraw the organization chart. He turned it upside down, with executives at the bottom and all the customer service personnel at the top. This helped him illustrate the point that customer service employees were the most important employees, and that the jobs of managers and executives were to provide support for those at the top. Then Carlson looked at SAS's customer numbers and came up with this formula. SAS at the time had 10 million customers, each of whom had, on the average, 5 contacts with SAS employees during any given trip with the airline. People like ticket purchase, check-in counters, luggage handlers, flight service employees, which meant that SAS had on an annual basis 50 million moments of truth, points at which SAS had the opportunity to satisfy and impress its customers. A moment of truth was defined as any episode in which the customer came into contact with some aspect of the organization and got an impression of its service. From that point forward, every employee was trained with an eye toward ensuring that every moment of truth was a positive one. From the standpoint of the flying customer, for sure. Again, these efforts resulted in major increases in customer satisfaction with their experiences with the airlines and a resulting increase in repeat business. The second key for achieving excellence is the drive for constant improvement and innovation. Primarily what this means is to strive to improve what you already do in every area: product, service, and internal procedures. This means to create new things to do, new products, new technology, new processes and procedures. And it means to strive to improve every area of existing activity, re-engineer and innovate products, services, and processes. One central way to do this is to encourage experimentation, constantly trying out new ways to do things, new technology, new product ideas, new service procedures, new human resource practices, new office procedures, new everything. Remember the strategy: there is nothing we can't do better. Why is this so important? As was mentioned earlier, such a focus on constant improvement and innovation is necessary in order to cope with the constantly changing and chaotic environment and to move forward, improve, get better at what you do, be more productive. It's how you serve the needs of your customers. It's how you beat your competition, create new markets, grow, and cut costs. The third key to achieving excellence is to develop an organizational culture and structure of shared values and beliefs that produce norms of behavior that reinforce the focus on the customer and constant innovation and improvement. There are many ways to achieve this. First, as Jim Collins, author of From Good to Great, writes, excellent managers put their focus on choosing the best possible people. Then they focus on what those people need to do to achieve organizational success. Great people will deliver great results. Second, as Marcus Buckingham, author of First Break All the Rules, found in huge surveys of managers from around the world, great managers hire and manage people based on their talents. That is, they focus on what people know how to do and have a passion for. Great employees provide both a talent to contribute in important ways as well as a passion to use those talents. The third thing that managers and executives focused on achieving excellence do is facilitate their organization's members' efforts. Employees are assigned to jobs based on their talents. That is, there's a priority placed on using their existing talents, not on trying to train people to do new things or to change them into new employees. People learn their talents early in life and develop passions to use them. Excellent firms take advantage of that reality. New employees are given well-thought-through onboarding or orientation to their new jobs, their new colleagues, and organizations. All employees are given continual training. This training can be made available in a number of ways, including the following. Online, many excellent firms acquire or subscribe to many, often hundreds or thousands, of skill and developmental courses that are made available online, so employees can access them just in time as they need them. This e-learning is flexible and is also available on the employee's individual time schedule. Excellent firms are devoted to their employees' constant improvement, also done through traditional classroom training, as well as through challenging job assignments. Excellent firms train their managers to be coaches and mentors, making developing their subordinates a key component of their jobs. At the base of these approaches is an attitude of respect for the dignity and intelligence of every employee. Most employees exercise their intelligence in their off-the-job activities, for example, in their children's schools, in volunteer activities, in their churches, etc., and welcome the chance to be treated with the same respect at work. Excellent employers care deeply for the well-being of their employees and their families. Excellent employers find ways to give employees a sense of ownership, including making them responsible for developing their ideas for products and services and turning them into internal entrepreneurs. Excellent firms develop the skills of listening closely and carefully to their employees, and they reward and recognize top performance, new ideas, and innovation. I've provided in this module the basic keys to achieving excellence in your organizations. In another module, I will provide some additional ideas about focusing on innovation and change, the role that leadership plays in implementing these ideas in your organizations, some examples of how these ideas have helped some specific organizations, and the key things you can do tomorrow to begin your individual searches for excellence. Thank you.